What is a limited liability company? First of all, it's a limited liability company. Many people make the mistake in the name of calling it a limited liability corporation. It's not a corporation. It is a limited liability company. And it's a special form of entity recognized by states. And it's extremely common for small to mid-sized businesses because of the ease of formation, the lack of formal maintenance requirement, and the limited liability protection that it offers. So let's go through each of the elements real quick of the limited liability company so you can understand the nature of this business entity. So first is creation. So it has to be filed with the Secretary of State's office, and the state recognizes the limited liability company as a business entity within the state. So you go through the filing process, selecting the name, et cetera, and you organize it with the state, and the state gives you a certificate of organization for the entity. Now, there are no meeting requirements, et cetera. There is generally a requirement that there be a central location where any correspondence with the Secretary of State's office can be maintained, and any corporate governance documents generally are held there, but there's very little requirements in that regard. Some states require a little bit more than others, but very little requirements, not required to have business meetings, et cetera. So a very simple form to create and maintain. Now, continuity of this business. Again, by default, when an individual leaves the limited liability company, the business it has very little continuity. By default, if an individual leaves, then their interest, the limited liability company, the remaining members have to select or determine whether they are going to continue on in operations. And if they do, they have to liquidate or pay out the interest of the disassociating member or the member that passes away, because the member has rights in their interest in the business or the value of their interest in the business. But you cannot pass an interest to your spouse or your child or something like that, and all of a sudden they become a member of the LLC. Generally, ownership interest or the ability to take part or be a part of the business is limited to the members. And that's generally controlled in the organizational document, which is called the operating agreement or the LLC agreement, very similar to the bylaws in a corporation. Okay, so there's very little continuity in an LLC. All right, next would be ownership and control.